Coming to you live from just outside the swamp of the nation's capital. Get ready for invigorating talk, commentary, and debate on the issues affecting your life. Grab your favorite drink. It's Nightcaps with Nate. Now, here's Nate.
Hey everybody, welcome to a Tuesday edition of Nightcaps and Nate. It is 9 p.m. and we are live, so if you want, you can come over to the Nightcaps and Nate page, and that's where you can communicate with us via chat. I will mention some of the chat, some of the commentary on there. Also, thanks for joining. Don't forget to subscribe to Nightcaps and Nate. Again, the drawing for the first 100 people will happen on the Thursday show at around 9 p.m., actually towards the end of the show. So that way I know that you stay and you watch the whole show. It is for $100. And thank you that you guys have brought that up. We have made some incredible headway on both the likes and the follows, both on our page here and on YouTube. Hey, by the way, as usual, we have Natalie on the show. We also have Gabriel Martinez, top major city. We won't say where. That way he doesn't get chased down. Doesn't ruin his job by being a conservative and Hispanic in a very liberal major city. Oh, we're going to talk about major cities, too, a little bit later here. Show today is brought to you by, I'm on Team Joe, hairy legs, because the kids used to rub my legs. That and, what was his name, Corn Pop? So, I got hairy legs, kids used to rub my legs. I'm on Team Joe. That is our sponsor for this evening. Glad to have you on our show there, hairy legs. So, how's everything going? What are you drinking, Natalie?
I'm having a White Claw Ruby Grapefruit.
Wow, Ruby Grapefruit. And my man Gabriel, what are you drinking?
Water, and then my usual Coke, my Jack and Coke.
Water. Oh, so you're going to prehydrate? Now, you said before we were on the show, you said that you were busy doing schoolwork and that you're like mentally exhausted. So hopefully this is where we get our nightcap. And nightcap is meant to be a virtual bar where we have a drink. I have my Bacardi and Diet Coke as usual. And we are going to discuss the topics of the day. We have a good one for you today. We are going to discuss the $3 trillion bailout that Nancy Pelosi has put on the table. Today, I was going to talk a little bit about the unmasking of General Michael Flynn. Hey, we're going to bring that up tomorrow. I think that's going to be a crazy story, man. This thing, Obamagate, is becoming real. Have you heard anything about that? Anybody?
What, the Obamagate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of read up a little bit about it. Surprisingly, a lot of the Democrats weren't, a lot of the Republicans weren't kind of backing it, but with good reason. I understand why they're doing it, but I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah,
for 3 years. But for 3 years, I mean, we've just been hearing a lot of Trump and the Russia collusion, and all of a sudden it's kind of shifted the other way. The narrative's kind of shifted.
Also, that big lie that there were no scandals in the Obama administration, that is turning out to be false. Well, first there was the Fast and the Furious, and then there was Benghazi Gate, which wasn't really a scandal so much, was just incompetence. And then there was this thing where they spied on that, and the unmasking I was reading. So when the CIA and them they collect foreign intelligence, there's a certain thing, if you unmask, like if you incidentally get an American citizen on there, you have to go through a whole process to unmask their identity. And apparently they just burned right through the process and unmasked General Flynn. And this was after, this particular incident happened during the transition of President Trump. He'd already won the election. So they're spying, the deep state basically was spying on them coming in. I mean, it's crazy. Dave Adams says Republicans have no balls. I think that we have a new Republican Party, and it's a populist party, which I'm glad because I've always been a populist. That's why I was against NAFTA back in the day. I've been against globalism. I'm against being the world's police officer. I'm against all that stuff, and I think that's where President Trump has came in and changed things. For the most part, he's still a little too much. He listened to John Bolton too much, and we went overseas, and we try to play cop still. I think that we need to start arming people. They can take care of their own backyard. Like the whole South China Sea thing with China, let them take care of it, man. You got Vietnam. You got somebody's clicking. I'm getting a lot of feedback from a microphone. Not good. Okay, so are you moving something, Natalie?
I feel like I don't know, what's the evidence?
Hey, just to let you know, Natalie, you're gonna have to drop off, come back on. You got a lot of feedback coming from your microphone. Like it's really loud. I don't know. There. I noticed that when you were talking, that's when it's coming in. Try talking again.
Okay. What
That's better.
what evidence do we have, for Obama and this whole Obama gate?
We're gonna discuss it all tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm gonna.
I haven't found any. What it looks like Trump is trying to kind of switch the narrative over to the Democratic side.
Man, no. The evidence is declassified papers. This is all coming out in the last 24 hours. They just declassified a whole bunch of papers and stuff. So that's the evidence. But again, we'll get into it. All right, so something is really causing feedback. So I'm gonna ask.
I can't even hear Gabriel at all.
Gabriel, talk to me, buddy. Yep, it's you. I think it's you, man. Unplug your headphones and plug it back in. Sorry, folks, this is live. This is what happens when it's live. Can you hear me, Gabe? I don't think
you hear me?
All right, I can hear you now.
Let me plug my headphones back in.
I think you got to shorten your audio jack.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so moving on. Let me get into our first story here.
He's got this.
You got this?
Ah, you're good.
He's got this.
All right, good without headphones.
All right, so the big story of the day, the House Democrats have unveiled a new $3 trillion coronavirus relief bill. House Democrats released their latest coronavirus relief bill as they tried to blunt the pandemic's effects on the economy. That's what they say it is. No, it's not. It's worse than that. Guess what it is? It is a big bailout of local state and local governments. The chamber plans to vote on the legislation, which includes relief for state and local governments. That's not relief. Don't let them. Do not. Russell said maybe it's the UFOs messing with the signal. Maybe it's the deep state that were listening on us and was trying to censor me out. But anyways, back to the story. This is a big bailout for the unfunded pensions and liabilities. It's a union payback to very deep state, very deep Democrat areas such as Chicago, New York, any place in California. This is to bail out their pension plan. Nothing more, nothing less. There's nearly $1 trillion in relief for state and local governments. Hey Val, you're cutting in.
Yeah, I'll take my headphones off. Man.
Yeah, please. It's loud.
Very good.
A second round of direct payments of $1,200. That's to pay out the people so that they'll demand that their government pass this thing. About $200 billion for hazard pay for essential workers who face heightened health risks during the crisis. When did it become the federal government's job to pay for hazard pay for private workers? I can understand if they want to put a bonus to, say, the VA employees, the government employees, Bureau of Indian Affairs, the cops, people that are on the federal payroll. If they want to do that, that's their prerogative because they're federal employees. But when did it become the federal government's job to give hazard pay for Walmart workers? When? It ain't. That's
never been. Yeah.
Never. $175 billion in rent, mortgage, and utility assistance. That would last a day. That wouldn't even last 1 month in this country of people who are probably behind on their rent. Subsidies and a special Affordable Care Act enrollment period to people who lose their employer-sponsored health care. As far as I know, Obamacare opens back up as soon as you lose your job anyways. It's a change in a major event. So I'm not worried about that. So I'll tell you, along this list so far, what I'm for and what I'm against. $1 trillion in relief for state and local governments? Hell no. Borrow. It has never been the Federalist idea that the federal government bails out state and local governments. No. And that is just because they're mad because under the new tax reform, there was no longer a large deduction for state and local taxes for socialist states like Vermont, New York, Democrat-led states like that.
Okay, well, but the thing is whenever you're talking about like what it's intended for, what they were intended for, this was back a long, long time ago before the world has changed dramatically. We live in a different country. It's almost like a different planet than what it was, 100, 200 years ago.
Okay, good.
So, and when you look at the rest of the globe and all of the developed countries and what they do for their people, and you compare America to that, it's embarrassing.
It is not embarrassing. We are the greatest.
Embarrassed.
What specifically is embarrassing?
Right.
It's embarrassing that we don't take care of our poor. It's embarrassing that we all got excited over a $1,200 check that was coming when every other country they're sending out monthly stipends to people. It's embarrassing that $18,000 is what it costs each American for the bailouts that happen for the corporations, when really $18,000 just left into the hands of everybody would do the economy much more than bailing out the stock market. if we had each of us had $18,000 extra, it would be better for the economy.
First of all, we shouldn't.
It's embarrassing.
Guess what? The government's the one that forced these businesses to close, and they're losing their livelihood, especially small business. A. B. It is not embarrassing. Hold on, I'll let you finish. If we made NATO pay for their own defense, then we would have enough money to do all this. And then third, yes, we are a different country than 200 years ago. You know how you change it? The founding fathers were genius. It's called a constitutional amendment. Amend the Constitution if we want to become a socialist country at the federal level.
To amend the Constitution in the middle of coronavirus.
Oh, you're right. So we might as well suspend your First Amendment speech too. What happens when they come in and shut this radio program down? Not saying they will, but that's you know what? This country has done more for other countries. Maybe we should. I'm okay. I'm with you here. I agree with you. We're a populous nation. We need to give.
Since we're going back to the founding fathers, don't you think that they'd be a little bit rolling in their graves if they saw how we're bailing out corporations?
Yes,
I think they would be rolling in their graves is because
tell you how they would feel. But I do know that $18,000 given to each person back out of their own tax money, given back.
Two wrongs don't make it right.
Corporations. The thing that corporations, I mean, they've had all of this time because they have such an economy of scale. They had all this time to build themselves up and prepare for emergencies like this. Why are we bailing them out?
The government is $23 trillion in debt. I don't think anybody has the right to talk about we had time. The Democrats are responsible for a good portion of that debt, and so are Republicans trying to be the policemen of the world. This is a new day in America. Go ahead, Gabriel. You were going to say something?
I was going to say, I think they would be rolling in the graves of the amount of liberty we're giving up right now over this virus.
They sure as hell would.
I think that's the real tragedy in all this, aside from all the money we're going to be spending. But I mean, essentially, what the stimulus says, we're putting a Band-Aid on it. And so I think we should open the economy back up because there's lots of people that are furloughed right now. They have jobs, they're not making any money.
Right, and your socialist programs cost tax dollars. But
it's not even about opening.
And the way we pay back this money is we're going to have to raise taxes.
And they love that idea.
I live in Indiana. Indiana is open. I just went and picked up takeout tonight, and there were people dining inside. Nobody wants to come out because there's a virus.
Well, guess what? Yes, they do. There's tons of people, and if you're too scared to come out, that's fine. You say corporations should build up savings. I have a savings account in case something bad happens, but most Americans don't. And guess what? This is us bailing poor decision making. And again, I don't mind another round of stimulus to the people. I really don't. I don't know why the federal government's on the hook. I think states should be doing it because that was the way this originally was intended, but got it. Okay. States should have an interest-free loan from the government, from the federal government to do it. It's really was supposed to be the states that are doing all this, but I'm okay with the second round of direct payment. About $200 for hazard pay against that, unless it's just for the government workers. $75 billion for coronavirus testing and contact tracing, a key effort to restart businesses. Don't know how I feel about that because this contact tracing is really giving up a lot of your information to the federal government and the state government. You talk about them. I mean, we talk about China having all these cameras everywhere and facial recognition. This is better than that, man. This is actual your information. This is some
1984 stuff, man.
This is Orwellian stuff. And that's big government right there, socialism. Extension of the $600 per week federal unemployment insurance. You're crazy. Not unless they're going to put a cap on it. There are many small businesses that are getting ready to reopen, and their employees are telling them, I don't want to come back to work because I'm making more on unemployment.
Right. They're going to be making less.
They're going to make less to go back to work.
Isn't that a little bit sad, though? That they'd rather have unemployment, which really isn't that high, than the regular wages.
Hey, if I was 43 and a waiter, then yeah, I'd be sad that, unless I own the restaurant or I really love waiting. First of all, we got to quit measuring people about how much money they're making anyways, because if I really love to cut hair and I only made $30 an hour to do it, I'd rather do that than make $80 an hour sitting in an office cubicle.
Well, it's not about judging them. It's about them judging their own,
This is for people who don't want to be in those jobs.
Am I able to feed my children? I mean, isn't it kind of sad that they look forward to unemployment time and like, woohoo, because I make so little every day?
Amber says that we should get more stimulus money. We, the people, they're the ones that shut everything down. I agree. The states, especially the Democrat states, who want to keep closed forever. I mean, California's talking about no sports or anything
until August, right?
August at minimum, and then they're hoping for this pipe dream of a vaccination that even Dr. Fauci says we may never have. Coronavirus is a weird bug. So $600 so that businesses can compete, so people can sit home. $175 billion, I already said, rent, subsidized in a special Affordable Care Act, more money for the SNAP program, including a 15% increase in the maximum benefit. Have you ever gone to Walmart on the first of the month? Okay, have you ever seen a fat kid on a skinny kid on SNAP? I'm not trying to be mean here, but they're all overweight, so apparently we're giving them a generous amount of meals anyways. I mean, wow. This is a big giveaway of welfare to addict people for Democrat votes.
You know why people are overweight and they're poor?
Because they don't eat well.
Because the food that is cheap is very fattening.
That's so that they can take their money, the leftover money, and buy junk food. I'll tell you what happens, man.
You know who are some of the fattest people like in America?
Yeah, red states.
Mennonites. Mennonites are isn't that weird? Mennonites are some very, very big people.
I never met a fat Amish or Mennonite. But anyways,
and all of those
this took a turn.
Like clannish Christians and stuff, who homeschool all their kids and all of that. They're all kind of fat.
And the biggest sin in America for Christians.
They all eat starchy crap.
Yeah, the biggest sin in America for Christians. They're the biggest sinners on Sundays because right after church they go and they gorge themselves at a buffet. But
I'm not talking about those Christians. I'm talking about the weird ones.
I call it the Pentecostal buffet. Measures designed to buoy small business help them. Okay, got that. Money for election safety during the pandemic and a provision to make voting by mail easier. In fact, it's not only a forced vote by mail, but they will actually force the states to allow voting by mail and early voting for up to 14 days, and they're not allowed to put any provisions in there to ensure voter fraud is prevented. You know why? Because I put a meme out today. It said, man, my lifelong uncle was a Republican. I found out this year he's voting Democrat. He wouldn't have done that if he's still alive or something like that because dead people vote Democrat. Relief for the U.S. Postal Service. What the hell does that have to do with the coronavirus thing? Nobody at the Postal Service has been put on furlough. Federal student loan payments would be suspended through September 30, 2021 with no interest accrual. I'm fine with that as long as it's suspended and it's not just a giveaway. Here's the deal. For $3 trillion, we could go and we could fix the entire infrastructure of this country and put millions of people to work this year. $3 trillion. $3 trillion, we could put everybody who's out of work into decent paying jobs, working on the roads, rebuilding our infrastructure. This country would look like a first world country again. What say you? Either of you, go ahead, jump in.
So before we move forward to this, I think we should analyze how well or what the last stimulus package did before we even commit to something like this.
That's what they're saying. It's dead on arrival when it gets to Senate anyways. Senate's like they're gonna rip half this stuff out, especially any giveaway to the states and local governments who, that's a big giveaway to the unions, the public sector unions. I'm not anti-union, but I'm telling you, man.
I think that the stimulus package should go towards small business and the gig economy because gig workers, who they're really hurting right now because they can't prove, what they've been doing for work. And
we just take them on face value.
People who.
And yes, you can. How do you prove your income if they're going to buy a house? I bet you they'd prove their income. They would go get bank statements the last 6 months and show, oh yeah, this is right here. See how it says Uber? Second, if you weren't doing tax evasion, which Democrats love taxing, then they should have 1099. You still got to file taxes on 1099. 1099 is independent contractor.
Hold them to that standard. Let's make sure to hold our corporations to that.
We do hold them to the standard, more so than those independent guys because
Warren Buffett claimed that he pays 4% in.
I guarantee you he's got
because he gets all of the tax breaks, but
I bet he does
40%.
I bet you he can account for all that. And that's all in the rolls.
They can't hear what I'm saying because you're interrupting me. So I just want to let you know that.
They can hear you fine. But they do. But guess who else gets a big buyout from the Pelosi thing? Lobbyists, corporate lobbyists. Here's the story from The Intercept. Speaker Pelosi supports push for taxpayer bailout of corporate lobbyists. K Street, may soon have its own taxpayer-funded bailout. Industries as varied as oil refining, construction, fast food restaurants, and chemical manufacturing are seeking federal cash to support their lobbyists as if they're unemployed workers. How do you feel about that?
I think that our next stimulus package should go towards the gig economy. It should go towards small business, and I think that it should. And this is a little bit controversial, but I think that like people who didn't lose their jobs during this time, I think that they should be left out of it because like John and I are doing great. Actually, we're doing better than before coronavirus happened because John's home. We're not having to pay for gas. We're not having to, we have extra help at home. We can do it. Like we're actually saving money.
Good. Send me some stimuli.
And why should John and I, get a stimulus? Why should we?
Well, the whole goal of stimulus is not to make up for job loss. That's what unemployment's for. Stimulus is so that you'll get out and it's really a tax break. Democrats are against tax breaks, but boy, they sure are trying to give a huge tax breaks corporations and the like.
It's just your money. You're just getting your money back.
The people who really need it right now are small business.
The people who need it are any business, including Kohl's, who had to file for bankruptcy, or JCPenney's had to file for bankruptcy. All these major corporations that were forced to shut down through no fault of their own for something so stupid, which I think history's going to look back and say the biggest overhyped media and Democrat leftist lockdown that we've ever had. Also, that we could give up all of our liberties for a 0.5% death rate. I think we're going to look back at this in shame. The whole world, not just us. Joe Brown says, "Good job, Natalie." He's my. I went to grad school with Joe. We took, I think, 10 classes together or something like that. House Democrats proposed $3.6 billion for expanding voter access. Expanding voter access, aka let lazy people vote from home without any ID, so that you can steal grandma and grandpa's ballot in the mail and vote the way you want them to vote. The proposed legislation also require all states and jurisdictions to allow vote by mail, which, by the way you vote is a state issue. Never was meant to be an issue for the federal government to determine, as long as it didn't discriminate. And provide 15 days of early voting, mandatory early voting at the state level during federal elections, starting with the November presidential election. Oh, how convenient. The bill would prohibit states from imposing additional conditions or new requirements to qualify for voting by mail by already eligible voters. In other words, if the state said, hey, you know what? Yeah, we let certain voters that we thought, like elderly and stuff, but if everybody wants to vote by mail, you have to, send a picture of your ID card, right? You can't do that. States are now would be prohibited from doing that. You talk about some federal overreach of state rights. I think every Democrat needs to go back and look at this thing called the 10th Amendment. And globalist Republicans, too. I'll be fair. Globalist Republicans, too. Look at the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment said that any power not explicitly granted to the federal government, that was the states giving the federal government permission to do something, is automatically reserved to the states. And it just gets my goat. And you know what? They say, the Constitution's outdated. Then amend it. If 3/4 of the country agree with you, then let's change the contract, because that's what the Constitution is. It's a contract between the people.
It's a process that takes a long time to do, as it's intended to, and so you can't just amend the Constitution.
Exactly.
That's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, but in the meantime, when emergencies like what's going on right now happen, we need to be able to. The federal government should be able to act.
They can all vote tomorrow. These states could all vote tomorrow and ratify an amendment within a month. Faster than we can get a vaccine, they could. Guess what? They were awfully quick to do it with the amendment that abolished prohibition. They were quick.
Yeah.
Get your alcohol, baby. And I'm glad, because we have Nightcaps and Nate. Woo woo. Hey, important stuff though. House Democrats did pull their stimulus bill from being online after a journalist points out a number of times cannabis appears in screenshots. The good news, folks. Democrats are working really super duper hard to make sure American families are getting the help they need in these unprecedented and challenging times, because we all need access to our local pot shop right now. Don't make that face. We're not even joking, which is ridiculously stupid and sad. Look at this mess. The word cannabis appeared 68 times, which is more than half the amount of times that the word bank appeared in this financial stimulus bill. 68 times, boy.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about cannabis. Nate, just be honest with you. Like, I'm a libertarian when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Me too.
Like, if you want to,
What
hey,
the
man,
hell
you
does
wanna
that have to
smoke
do
weed,
with?
go for it, man. But me personally, that's not my thing.
What does
But,
that have to do with stimulus bill? That's my point.
That's my next point. What does that have to do with the
Yeah,
stimulus?
see, here's the thing is that, I'm with you too on the marijuana. I don't care if people do it. I've never liked it myself, but whatever people want to do, you go for it.
How about heroin?
But the thing that's bothering me about all the stimulus bills, and this is coming from both sides, everything from Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats and to the Republican side, is this sneaking in crap into it. Let's just stick to the agenda here. Let's solve the problem and let's move forward.
Like 15-day mandatory early voting.
Well, yes. Like, let's just stay. It's because they're like, this is our chance. We don't know when it's going to come. Here, let's get it.
Yes. Look, we agree on something, Natalie. It's 1,800 pages, so nobody's going to read the bill.
And, the Republicans do it too.
Oh, I know, and I hate it.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm not a Republican. I'm as much Republican as you are a Democrat. Now, I choose the lesser two evils, and I tend to vote Republican because it's lesser two evils.
Yep.
But no, I hate all the pork and crap because it goes against our Constitution. The federal government was never meant to be this large. Never meant to be this powerful.
Well, just talking about the sliminess of sneaking things in and doing all of
That's why the founders were so smart.
It's just so disingenuous. And even if I agreed with what they're putting into the bill, I mean, just the thought of them doing it annoys me and it pisses me off.
100% agree with you, Natalie. And
everything always has to be an omnibus. Nothing can be ever about the issue. They always have to pass some other hidden agenda with it.
Right,
and that goes for both parties. That's not just the Democratic Party; it's the Republican Party as well.
Yes, if it's that important of an issue, let's bring it in separately as another bill and let's try to get it passed if it's important.
Well, do you know why the federalist system took off, right? And why they did it was because it's easier to lobby your state and local government than it is to lobby the federal government. That's why lobbyists get paid $10,000 a month, because they're lobbying the federal government, which is very expensive to do. We never were meant to have a big federal government. In fact, I wish that they took Washington, D.C. and put it at the northern tip of Alaska. That way nobody would want to be there and less interference would happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's my idea. I never thought about that, but man, maybe I should run for that issue.
No, man, I agree. There's too much bureaucracy, even at my level at the municipality. I mean, there's a bunch of bureaucracy. I have to jump through hoops just to get something done.
Your Uncle Jeff says, thank you, Natalie. Renews his confidence. This is not an emergency. It's a fraud. Charles says this is a pandemic. Q. This is about a virus. It's not about a virus. It's about 2020 elections. I agree that they've at least turned this pandemic and used it to their. What was it? Some politicians said never let
never let a good crisis go to waste.
Go to waste, exactly. Dave Adams says $3 trillion. You give every American $10,000. Hope that's better than the math that was on what was that news show in the MSNBC. Hey, Pennsylvania folks, and your governor, he's competing against Governor Whitmer now with the big stupid award. Governor Tom Wolf denounces Pennsylvania counties that decided, because there's two counties at least that said, hey, including the county where the state capital's in, says we're reopening. We're tired of listening to you. But he calls that cowardly, selfish, threatens to yank coronavirus aid from the federal government, by the way. If counties reopen in defiance of state shutdowns, he called politicians who are urging business owners to flout restrictions selfish and unsafe. Everything's about safety, right? Gun safety, this safety. Take your rights away. It makes you safer, people. These politicians put you at risk of losing your health department certification. They put your business owners at risk of losing your liquor license. Now he's threatening their livelihoods. They put you at risk of losing your certificate of occupancy. The state, he says it's not only morally wrong, it's also really bad business. And then the state's insurance commissioner says that they will yank your business insurance as well if you try to reopen early.
Dude, this is the problem I have with the whole coronavirus thing is the government overreach right now. Is they're taking away everyone's liberties. And I mean, it goes far beyond just taking liberties. Now we're messing with people's livelihoods. You know, you're talking about the certificate of occupancy, people not being able to open their business. It's more than just an economic impact. It's having a mental impact on these people too. Now we're having suicide rates go up, and I see it on my end. We have a lot of family violence rates go up because not everyone's locked down.
Everybody hates each other, and they're beating each other. Everybody hates each other, and they're beating each other.
Exactly. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe says the whole pandemic response has been left up to the states with direction from the president, yet the lack of understanding still blames blames all wrongdoings on the federal government. I mean, hey, I will say one thing. At least these governors are being dumb at the state level. Down with it. Because they're easier to vote out than a president. That's the beauty of federalism. And local sheriffs are defying these orders too. In Michigan here, I'm going to show you on the screen, this barber, a state judge denies Michigan Attorney General's demand to shut down a Wasso barbershop. I used to know about Wasso. It's a little small town outside of Flint, Michigan. When I was in the National Guard, I was in the 144th Military Police Company there, where I went active duty. The Shiawassee
Wasso is also where Not Without My Daughter, where that lady was from and her daughter.
Oh yeah, that's where she goes. They take away the Lebanon.
Sally Field.
Yep. So the Shiawassee County Sheriff's Office said they won't enforce Whitmer's stay-at-home order. 5 other sheriff departments out of the 82, I think we have 82 counties in Michigan. 5 other sheriff's departments representing the counties of Benzie, Leelanau, Livingston, Manistee, Mason have also said they will not enforce Whitmer's order. They said they're pulling a page out of the liberal playbook and saying, hey, we have limited resources, so we're going to choose, like how they say they're not going to help with deportation and all that. We're going to choose our priorities, and our priorities are not enforcing shutdown orders, which, by the way, aren't even really a law. It's an executive order based on a law. Best thing I did was move to Shiawassee County. Jeffrey, I didn't know you moved to Shiawassee County. Very good. But I think it's, that is, sheriffs are locally elected officials. So I think that's why I like the sheriff's department, because you're electing law enforcement priority by your county. Now, I know you're a big city cop. How do you feel about that?
I think we had this discussion before. I mean, I'm with you. I agree with electing someone like a sheriff, but I mean, like we talked about before, it's kind of weird, electing your boss, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, a little bit weird, but you know what? It works, man, because then they can.
Usually when they elect like police chiefs and stuff like that, it's usually because they have a hidden agenda, right? They agree with their views, not so much because I think they'll be good for the police department, they're going to enforce such and such and such, but because maybe they align politically.
Well, a lot of cities control their police department too. So if you get a really liberal mayor, then they're the ones that put in the police chief who sets the agenda, So this gives the people to say. It's not just an appointed position. You know who else is getting pissed, Natalie? Your liberals over in Hollywood or Canada, the music industry. So Brian Adams, actually, I think he's going to get canceled because he had the audacity to say this. Tonight was supposed to be the beginning of a tendency of gigs at the Royal Albert Hall, but thanks to some fucking bat eating, I'm sorry, I'll just say effing bat eating, wet market animal selling, virus making greedy bastards, the whole world is now on hold, not to mention the thousands that have suffered or died from this virus. Tonight was supposed to be, it was just a repeat. Dude, bat eating and all that? Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's a little bit. Well, you know who's the biggest racist in my house? Benjamin, my son Benny, and I don't know where he's getting it from. But
his
every
mom.
time something, no, not from. No, this is about bats.
That's the worst thing you could call a liberal.
Something goes where he doesn't get his way, like a virus, he can't go. So, yeah, when first it was because we couldn't go to Florida for Disney because we had to cancel our whole vacation or whatever.
Benny's like, damn bat eaters.
He gets so mad, his little ears get red. That's the first thing that gives him away. His little ears get red. And he gets so mad, and he's like, those people, all because they wanted to eat bats. And and it's like, that's not even what I say at home. He just,
Hey, have you seen, hey, Benny, you're my newer favorite nephew. Them damn bat eaters.
We've tried explaining to him, like, well, okay, everybody makes mistakes. It was one person, and that's just their culture. He will not hear any of it.
One person who caused trillions of dollars of economic downfall. It's more than one person. It's a government,
Well,
and we all know it didn't even come from the bats. That was a cover up. It came from that Wuhan lab. Hey, you know who Kevin James is? He was on King of
the actor from King of Queens.
And what was that movie where he's learning to Will Smith teach him how to get girls and stuff? Well, he has a little 2-minute short video that I'm going to show here. It's actually funny. It's called Out of Touch, and it's about all the wokester PC police who are snitching on people. So stand by.
Wokester.
Yeah, wokesters.
I can't. I'm gonna die. I'm too young to die.
This is our life now. This is our life now, okay? We're gonna go on. It's gonna be fun.
I can't go on, Marcus. I can't do this. I'm gonna die.
Why are you shaking my hand?
I gotta run. I can't go to jail. I can't go to jail, Marcus. I can't.
Come back.
Oh God, they're coming. They're coming.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Oh no!
Hey, there you go. There you go. With your hand on your head, with well on the ground, not attempt to run.
Oh, hey, Ted.
Oh hey, Marcus. How are you?
Good. We out for a little run?
Hey, yeah, just did 7. I might do another 7. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold you up. Hey, let's grab dinner sometime.
I would love that.
All right.
You, me,
Good
Karen.
seeing you. Absolutely. I mean.
What's your emergency?
Hi, yeah. I got a couple handshakers right in front of me.
Okay, sir, are they still in the vicinity?
Yeah, I'm staring at them right now.
Run.
So I know you can't see it for those that are on the thing with me. That's why I sent these to you hopefully a little bit early. But man, it's just hilarious because it is so true, man. The snitches do get stitches, okay? I was never once a believer in that. I know as a cop, you still don't believe in that because, you know, you depend on people turning people in. But if you're turning in your neighbor because somebody shook their hand, they're not wearing a mask or whatever, man, you're sorry.
Yeah. That's pretty lame.
You made the right decision.
Huh?
You made the right decision.
Hey, snitches get stitches, man. I think they deserve them in this case.
He's just a little self-righteous.
Well, you know, I hear about people in like Walmart, man. I've heard people like at Walmart getting bitched out by other people, like, "Where's your mask? Where's your mask?" And I saw this thing like where they did like I don't know, you know, like where they can search like cum stains or sperm on the thing with the black light. Well, they had these people in the room, right? And they sneeze, and it shows the plume. But with those surgical masks, all it does is plume out and back around. So it doesn't even protect you, man, from yourself. So, you know what? If you're scared, stay home. I'm all about it.
Right.
In fact, take that $3 trillion. Anybody who's 60 or immunocompromised with a real letter from a real doctor, they get to stay. They get to stay home. Okay. I mean, that's where I go with it.
You know, but here's the thing is that, like, I'm all for the economy opening up right now. I like how my governor's doing it. Like I've said before on previous shows, he's a Republican governor, Governor Holcomb, and he is tiering it. So like right now we're going into phase 3, you know, so, you know, like I said, I went to a restaurant and I saw couples there, but they're practicing social distancing. And, you know, in a couple weeks, we'll be open back up fully. And so, you know, I'm all about, you know, doing it well or whatever, you know, but
what about liberty, man? Let's just, you know what? Dr. Fauci's talking about canceling next school year too, the fall.
Yeah. Well, you know, but it's just getting crazy though. You know, it's, you know, people are ready to get out. And here's the thing, you know, I have a daughter, you know, with, you know, everybody knows she has severe special needs. Well, one of her things that people don't know is that she has kidney problems and she was born with abnormal kidneys. So if we don't know what will happen if she gets COVID-19, therefore I, as her mother, have to keep her in until fall, but I'm not going to make the rest of the country stay home.
And there's a lot of undiagnosed.
I'm going to keep her home. We're going to social distance as a family, and that's what we're going to do because that's what you do.
And there's a lot of things going undiagnosed right now, special needs that are just coming up. That can't go. They can't see speech pathologists. They can't get tests for cancers. Right. They can't get tests for all types of different things because people are scared to go to the doctor.
And it's not just that.
I'm a hypochondriac, man. Every time I get a headache, I go run and get a CT scan and make sure I don't have brain cancer. I had to delay my CT scan this year.
Well, special needs parents also, they really need respite care. And, you know, and they get respite care either from schools or extended school year, or they get it through ABA clinics or wherever they get that. We can't get that. So do you think that special needs parents are a little stressed right now? A little bit.
Amber
know?
saying, no more homeschool. She's,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of mental health and a lot of drinking going on right now, man. There's a lot of people, a lot of Bulldogs fans. Jasper, I just saw you said, hey, nice hat, who want to see football games, man. That's mentally anguishing for these people, especially in the SEC. They take their football really seriously. We do too in the Big Ten, but nothing like Friday Night Lights down the South there. Dr. Fauci wants the country to be at the whim of epidemiologists because he feels that's the only way to end this pandemic is for people to completely stop living their lives. Hey, did you see today Rand Paul? I wish I would have gotten a clip. He took Dr. Fauci to task politely, but he took him to task. And Rand Paul, by the way, is a physician as well. So,
I missed that.
Oh, it's good. I urge you guys to all Google it. Hey, let's get into some quicker news here. Chuck Schumer thinks, quote, our hashtag #MeToo is great and all, but Joe Biden's explanation for Tara Reade's allegation is sufficient, and Dems just need to win. And then this gem here, Stacey Abrams says that the fact that she believes Joe Biden over Tara Reade speaks to who I am. Yeah, it does. You're a hypocrite.
Yeah, it sure does.
You're a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. And if he picks her, then he's an idiot. Okay? She's not going to help him win. She's not going to deliver anything. If he picked Kamala Harris, that's a better choice, even though they're gonna attack her because she slept her way in with Willie Brown. There's so many other people that he could pick. Gretchen Whitmer's out.
You know,
Klobuchar.
the problem is that the Democrats just really shot themselves in the foot. The DNC, out of everybody that they could have picked, they picked Joe Biden right after Me Too. And especially because the main allegation we have three biggies for Trump. We've got the border wall and how he treats immigrants. We have
illegal immigrants. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have his sex allegations, and we have Russia. They picked a candidate who is one of those three issues that we have towards Trump. Like that was
all
not
three of the issues.
The whole thing with Russia has been disproven, and the sexual allegations aren't. It's sexual harassment, not sexual assault. That's two completely different things.
Rape and groping's one of them, and there were 25. Me and Nathan already settled this like 2 weeks ago.
No, we didn't settle it. I still disagree with you.
Whatever. You go ahead and live in denial. At least I'm honest.
Hey, I know. I'm honest too. Believe me, I took the Republicans to task all the time.
Hey, I think the Democrats shot their wad. They're just grasping at straws now, man.
Right.
Hey, man, they're grasping at straws now. Honestly, I think their best shot was Bernie
just named
Sanders,
3 things.
and it's gone now.
A lot of people listen, but here's the problem, though, is that if we don't get a Democrat in, we have like 3 Supreme Court picks that are going to go to Trump.
Yes.
And do you think that's going to really help the feminists and the Me Too movement? Do you think those people are going to really pass? Do
you have a problem with Neil Gorsuch? What's wrong with Neil Gorsuch?
What?
What was wrong with Neil Gorsuch?
With who?
Neil Gorsuch.
Neil Gorsuch?
Supreme Court Justice.
We've got RBG that's going to die. And then we've got, who is it? Now I got to look up the Supreme Court. But we have 3 people that are going to go. And they're going to be replaced. I'm a little bit mad at RBG too because she could have resigned during Obama.
She sure as heck could have, but she stuck around through all that cancer. I agree with you. Hey.
She should have got out of there so that Obama could have got the pick. Because I'm a little annoyed at RBG, but I still, what she's responsible for? Just a little feminist moment. She's responsible for female soldiers getting BAH in the Army.
Good.
That was her case.
Hey, guess what?
What?
As Gabriel said, they did blow their wad because Russia, Biden has not only the Ukraine where his son was on Burisma, but also China where his son was also getting paid for no apparent reason from Chinese boards as well. All because his dad. You talk about investigations that are forthcoming. You wait till if God forbid,
the hammer's about to drop, bro.
He's going to get impeached just based on all the quid pro quo of him being vice president and using that position to enrich his family. You think that the Monuments Clause is bad for Trump. This is horrible for Biden. You guys picked a horrible, horrible candidate. You talk about creeper. Agree. He's a creeper. What was the third thing that you brought up? You said Russia,
Russia, border and immigrants, and Me Too.
And as soon as he raised his hand and said, when all 10 of them or whatever were up on that stage and they said, hey, Will you support giving illegal immigrants free healthcare, aka taxpayer-funded healthcare? And they all raised their hand. That was it for him.
Yeah, well, you know
Oh,
what?
and he said
No,
he wouldn't.
actually-
If they
it's
could get across the
funny
border, he
that you
won't
mentioned
deport.
that. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because the progressives were mad at Biden because Biden actually did a reluctant hand raise. He did this little.
Yeah, he had a piece of base, but
like,
guess what?
I'm not
He also
upset
said
about it.
he also said that unless you commit another crime after you cross the border, then you won't get deported. When you make promises like that, everybody's going to make a rush for the border because if they can get across the border and just not commit a crime, they get to stay.
As if crossing the border isn't a crime enough as it is.
Right? It's a civil infraction.
Just because something is legal doesn't make it ethical, Gabriel. Can't believe I'm
What's that?
This. Just because something is illegal, or doesn't mean that it's ethical.
So if someone that you don't know needs a place to stay, are you okay with them coming in your house and you don't know them?
Hey,
and then bringing their family with
as long as they mow your lawn and do a job that you don't want.
The analogy of my personal home and a country that's filled already with 320.
The country is my home.
Okay, but you're also sharing it with 327 million people, and it's spread across miles and miles and thousands of miles.
But the thing is, we don't know who's coming into this country.
Somebody coming into my.
You're just gonna let everybody willy-nilly come in here? You don't even know who they are.
Gabriel,
that's why there is a process to vet these people.
You're a racist.
I'm a racist.
You hate Hispanics, Gabriel Martinez.
No, he's just misguided.
Hey, guess what?
We are a country Sinaloan cartel, right?
Okay, but you know what though? Like, I actually know immigrants who came here illegally, and they're all really good people.
I agree, they are.
And I know immigrants that came here legally, and they're all really good people, and they're totally against illegal immigration. They fled from Venezuela, Colombia. I know people that came from Iran and Syria, and they are for legal immigration.
Okay, are they good people?
And these are places where they're persecuted.
Okay, are they good people?
Yes, they're fantastic people.
Okay. So here's the thing. Whenever I hear, this is the reason why Trumpers get called racist. And it is because he creates the scare tactic that makes people think that there are bad people coming in. But the thing is that I know people who came here illegally, and they're all kind, good, hardworking, nice people.
But you're equating those people with everyone. Not everyone that comes in is a good person.
Hey, I'm not finished, Gabriel. When Trumps and Trumpers, when they say, oh, well, they're murderers and rapists and these terrible, terrible things like that, it makes me say, wow, what a racist, because the ones that I know are really, really good people.
Let's let Gabriel have a chance. I will say that I do have friends that are illegal immigrants as well that are very nice people. In fact, I had a friend over just this weekend who's going through the ICE deportation process. But you know what I told him to his face? As much as you're an awesome person, there are millions that are doing it properly, standing in line right now, waiting for their chance to come here, and they should not be punished because you cut in line. Because I'm sure they're good people too.
They don't get punished. That's not even how it works.
Law is law. Come in legally, Jeff.
That's not even how it works. It's not like the State Department goes, 1,000 people just came in illegally, so therefore we can't stamp the approvals of these other 1,000 people who applied for visa. That's not even how it works, Nathan.
It doesn't work exactly like that.
But the thing is, we still have to support these people.
And
we can only support so many people a year. That's why we have a yearly cap.
And they do.
Okay, but we actually don't support them. Because the thing is there's this thing on Medicaid applications and on food stamp.
You're wrong.
So here's the thing: if an illegal immigrant goes to an emergency room, who puts that bill?
What?
If an illegal immigrant goes to an emergency room, who puts that bill?
Okay, well,
who puts the bill?
The hospital.
No, you know who fits the bill. The legal people.
The hospital is a nonprofit. So
what do they do? Okay. All right. Let me take back over as moderator here. I'll stay out of it, but the hospital passes that on to everybody else who pays the bill. The thing is that if they pop out a kid, the kid is automatically a U.S. citizen, even if both parents are illegal immigrants in this country. In my opinion, we should change birthright citizen law and let it go to the Supreme Court. Right, but if both parents are illegal, then the kid cannot become a legal. He's not a legal citizen. He's a citizen of the home country of his parents. If one parent is legally here and is a citizen, then I'm okay with birthright citizenship. But what they do is they come over, they have 2 or 3 kids, and then they apply under their kid's social security number legally, and it's not even illegal for them to do it. And then they get Medicaid, they get TAMP, they get SNAP for their kids. They just technically don't get it for themselves. That is wrong. Taxpayers are on the hook. We do not. Joe Biden, if you became president, God forbid, and you even have a mind left by the time you get inaugurated, we do not reward illegal behavior in this country. We do not give free health care to illegal immigrants. I understand that what we do, we take them to a hospital, we stabilize them, and then we put them on a helicopter or a plane back to their home country to fend for their citizen.
And you also misunderstand me. I'm not saying that we should just open up the borders. I'm not asking for open
Can
borders.
I ask you a question? Honestly,
I'm just saying the ones that somehow get through because they're under dire circumstances, then for crying out loud,
So,
while they're here.
that's opening the border. Because as soon as they cross over the border and they cannot be deported unless they commit another crime, everybody's going to try to cross the border because we don't have enough people to man the entire 2,000-mile border. So you just opened the borders. You said, hey, play chicken with our law enforcement.
But
And
they
if you
can't
get past them, then you get to stay. That is opening our borders.
So why don't they just go to an entry point and claim refugee status?
They do, and they get denied because refugee status.
But not all of them, though.
No, but they should get denied because we have refugee laws that say, hey, if you're there for religious persecution or stuff like that, that's fine. But here's the deal. Bottom line, people need to stay home in their country and fix it. They can't all run to us. We don't have, I'm a bleeding heart Christian too. I'm just not a liberal. I think with my brain, right?
You are not
So
bleeding heart.
we cannot support 7 billion poor people in this country.
We
don't even have enough land, arable land. If 7 billion people get the message that if they can somehow sneak past our border agents, that they get to stay as long as they don't commit another crime, a felony, and then they're going to. They are going to stay. They are going to make a run for our border. They're going to have caravans like you've never seen before. In fact, the caravans were nothing until Obama came into office, and that's when they all figured, hey, Obama's not serious about immigration anymore. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Then how come he has the worst reputation among the Hispanic community over immigration?
His first few years, he did a lot of
deportations than any president before him.
And he saw the writing on the wall to get reelected. He got the DARPA and DACA going, and Jasper's biting at the bit to do a show with you. I like it because then I can just sit back and just moderate. Natalie says she is doing well. Maybe she should sponsor her family. That was from Dave Adams.
What?
Hey, she said, you're doing so well. Why don't you sponsor an illegal immigrant family at your house? Just let them come. Hey, you know what? Since you hate doing dishes, as long as they do dishes, a job that Americans don't want, then they can just stay. You have to educate their kids, feed their kids, clothe their kids, all that stuff. You're on the hook.
Well, don't get mad at me when I hire them to do my maiden lawn care service because that's
racist.
That's racist.
No,
because they're brown.
Because I actually hired them to. Like, they do a better job and they don't charge as much. Why in the world would I not?
Hey, you know what? If Democrats take over, this is what we're gonna get. Look at over here. Let me transition this over. Sorry. So locals, even the liberal law firms of San Francisco, law school, business owners, and local residents are suing the city of San Francisco to force it to clean up the Tenderloin neighborhood, alleging almost 300% spike in homeless, shantytowns, drug dealing, and feces-covered sidewalks, which have made conditions insufferable. Has brought down things. They want something done with the homeless. I got a meme here. It has a dog. It says San Francisco, where the dogs step in human poop. And then Democrats, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Detroit. Any questions? Name a city where the Democrats have been in charge that's been great. I'll wait.
Well, I don't know about city, but New England states are doing phenomenal. Connecticut and, Massachusetts, New Hampshire.
Name the local government where the Democrats are in charge.
The problem is in New England, everything is so tiny. It might as well be a city. I mean, have you ever been to New England?
Yeah.
You are never more than like 20 minutes away from the next state.
I disagree. If you get in the middle of Massachusetts,
My friends that live in New England are dying because of the tax laws up there. They're getting taxed to death up there.
It's insufferable. I mean, they're the rich people, because they always want to tax the rich. Well, they're having to lower the wealth limit that classifies you as rich because they need all that tax money, and they're leaving in droves. It doesn't help that they're in the Northeast either. All I gotta say is, when Trump said in 2016, I had been saying this for years. I was always like, why don't Republicans ever make just campaign commercials and just show the inner city of Detroit, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Cleveland, any of these cities and say, what the hell do you have to lose? It was almost like Trump was just listening to me and he said, What the hell do y'all have to lose? Vote for me. That's why he's appealing to black voters now.
Did you mention Los Angeles?
Oh, all of them. I can mention Houston. Sorry, Dallas. I mean, all different places. If you live in Little Rock, it's nasty. Gary, Indiana, nasty. Chicago, Illinois, Southside, nasty. Sorry if you guys are from there. Russell says, I'm from Massachusetts. It's a dumb place. Here's my favorite girl ever. Oh, Natalie dropped off because I was waiting for her to counter me.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for it too.
Yeah, I was sitting there like a pregnant pause. Do you like Candace Owens?
Do I like Kansas? Do I listen to Candace Owens?
Yeah, you know who she is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think she's awesome.
MAGA speech classes with coronavirus misinformation crackdown. You know, hey, have you seen those two black women that come on? They're like, they were called Diamond and Silk.
Oh,
and they
yeah,
were like,
the Trump supporters, right?
Yeah. So they've been banned off Twitter. Candace is now banned off Twitter. The vloggers Diamond and Silk. Trump booster and former Milwaukee Sheriff David Clark Jr. Fox personalities, all of them are being banned off Big Tech. Big Tech is in a big mood to censor right now. That Plandemic movie. Have you seen it yet?
No, I have not.
Have you heard about it?
I did. We were talking about it in the other show, but I have not brought myself to watch it.
Well, don't worry. It's hard to find because it's all... Well, what you got to do is you got to go to one of these offshoots of YouTube, like a Brighteon, and you can find it there. But YouTube has removed it. Twitter has removed it. Big Tech right now, if you don't think...
Really? It's been removed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they disagree with it. They said, oh, it's false information, this global pandemic. We can't have anything that could hurt anybody out there. Oh, really? I mean, I see all types of crazy stunt videos and skateboarders, you know, jumping off buildings and, you know, I mean, those are all going to injure you. Why can't, you know, this is nothing more. Big Tech is in with big business, or not big media, mainstream media, and they are trying to throw this election just like they did in 2012. Just like
we're getting into some dicey territory, man, when we're suppressing some, I mean, regardless of it's, I mean, here's the thing with that, man. Unless it's inciting violence or it's some type of libel, I don't think they should be suppressing anything like that.
Or if you disagree with it, they can put their own little disclaimer. Hey, YouTube does not support the views here. You know, and they can do that with every religious video, all types of stuff. But to sit there and outright ban these things, I think Trump administration shouldn't say it, because then he'll wake up Big Tech and they'll really work to unseat him. Because Google, if you type in news.google.com, they feed you a bunch of liberal headlines.
Have you ever done a Google search for anything Trump related? Have they then done the same thing in a Bing app?
Yep. Yeah.
You get two completely different things.
You do.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep. So Big Tech is working against the conservative reelection. Final story, because we got to go in about 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
I just wanted to say, though.
Oh, she's back.
There she is.
I just wanted to say that the reason why Democrats are in crappy areas and crappy cities is because Republicans failed them. And then white flight happens, and then the Democrats come back to pick up the pieces because minorities and poor people elect in Democrats to help them.
Can I ask you a question?
How long has Detroit been run by Democrats?
Exactly. I have a graphic I was going to put up here. Guess what? Detroit, Cleveland, Minnesota, Minneapolis, all the liberal cities have been led by Democrats since the 50s and 60s. I don't want to hear it. There's no excuse. If you have 40 years to fix something, 50, 60 years to fix something, and you haven't, then it's time to try something different. Black people, we will take your votes and we will do something with it. We will empower you. Guess what? I got to move on to the next slide because it's my final one and I love it. Bad timing. So the U.S. Mint is minting out 2020 quarters that were already planned. It was supposed to, give shout out to America Samoa, which is one of our territories, for their national parks, and it shows a bat. On the quarter will be a bat and its little pup hanging upside down. I think this is the worst timing
you
ever.
Can't make this stuff up, man.
DMZ says U.S. Mint went batty. Bad COVID coincidence, man. A quarter in 2020 with a bat on it. You can't make this up. I mean, this is... I had to go look to make sure it was not just fake news. It was real. I'm not joking, man. This world has gone crazy with the murder hornets, with the Wuhan flu and all that stuff, and now we have a coin with bats on it. Hey, that's our show for tonight. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Natalie, it's the Republicans' fault and Trump's fault that your internet sucks so bad and you keep dropping off. I'll call Trump and tell him to fix it. Because now it's a federal issue.
It's Broom's fault.
Jasper says, I want that quarter. All right, man. Hey, join me tomorrow. Tomorrow night is my favorite night. It is Redneck Wednesday. Anybody's allowed on it, except for, well, I guess even Natalie can be on it if you want to be a redneck, honorary redneck. Make sure that you go.
I'll let you have this one, Nady.
Like and follow. Gotta go. See ya.
This has been Nightcaps with Nate. Please join Nate for a nightcap every weeknight at 9 Eastern here on Facebook Live.
Peace.